Ya con lo que fue para ustedes el haber dejado fuera a León, a América, ¿crees que se les pueda dar la razón de que hoy en día el fútbol en Estados Unidos podría estar mejor que el mexicano o tendría que darse únicamente ya con lo que fue para ustedes el haber dejado fuera a León, a los Tigres para que se pueda dar razón a esta comparación que existe hoy en día en estas dos ligas?
No, yo creo que es muy difícil comparar una liga con la otra. Son fútbol diferentes y no creo que haya... Cada uno puede ver el fútbol a su manera y puede interpretarlo como él quiera. No hay una forma de juego ni algo que sea correcto. Cada uno lo puede ver por, por su gusto o lo que sea, pero creo que es difícil comparar una liga con la otra porque son situaciones diferentes o se juegan de otra manera. Y bueno, capaz que esto puede ser sí, para ver algo así, pero es sobre un tiempo, sobre este campeonato, no se va a ver lo que es el resto del año, sino que es solo de un campeonato.
Katia.
Thanks, Ben. Diego, gusto saludarte.
Igualmente.
¿Cómo se sienten ustedes? ¿Crees que se han ganado el respeto por lo que vienen mostrando en la competición? Si bien, justo lo que decía mi compañero de esta comparativa que siempre hay entre MLS y Liga MX, y son un club joven y enfrente tendrán a otro rival para una final que tiene experiencia, aunque tampoco ha podido ganar en este torneo. ¿Cómo llegan en ese sentido? ¿Crees que hoy el AFC se ha ganado un respeto y una luz distinta?
Y sí, bueno, como vos decís, el respeto se va ganando con el correr de los partidos o con el correr de los años o lo que sea. Y bueno, creo que está en uno seguir con las mismas ideas y el mismo trabajo. Y, y bueno, creo que va a ser una linda final donde bueno, ninguno de los dos equipos, como me dijiste, lo ha ganado, entonces va a ser una linda final.
Ariel Judas.
Hola Diego, de fútbol de MLS en español te estamos hablando. El partido del sábado contra el América fue muy ríspido, muy duro, hizo recordar por muchos momentos a lo mejor partidos de Copa Libertadores o de Copa Sudamericana. ¿Lo sintieron así? ¿Sintieron un partido más intenso de lo que habitualmente son partidos contra normales, digamos, contra equipos mexicanos? ¿Y esperan lo mismo mañana contra Tigres, un partido copero, duro, competido?
Y bueno, sí, se están definiendo cosas importantes y bueno, a veces esa adrenalina son mayores en estos partidos, pero creo que va a ser una linda final. Como te digo, jugamos por un título y bueno, eso va a ser muy lindo.
Vladimir Garcia.
Gracias. ¿Cómo están? Muchas gracias. Una pregunta. Han eliminado a los clubes mexicanos en las etapas anteriores. ¿Esto les motiva? Incluso podrían ustedes llegar como favoritos contra otro club mexicano ahora en la final. Gracias.
Y obviamente que es una motivación eh, y bueno, fue algo lindo ganarle a estos equipos mexicanos, eh, aunque hayan sido otros equipos, nosotros lo que queríamos era avanzar y llegar hasta esta instancia, ¿no? Y bueno, ahora a disfrutarlo, a trabajar y prepararnos para este partido y bueno, a disfrutar de esta final para poder llevarnos también el título.
Thank you. That's going to be it for Diego today. Thanks for your time, Diego. We're going to be joined. shortly by LAFC's Bob Bradley. Please use those raise your hand buttons and we'll do our best to get everybody's questions in. We're now joined by LAFC head coach Bob Bradley. We're going to start here with some opening remarks for Bob, then open it up to questions. Bob, I'll let you take it away when you're ready.
Thanks, Ben. We're excited for the final. Finals are special for players, for coaches, for clubs, for fans. And a final against Tigres, a great institution, some really top players. We have great respect for Tuca. Mike Sorber played for Tuca like 25 years ago at Pumas. I think that was Tuca's first coaching job. So we've watched Tigres over the years, their football, the way they go about things, and I think it sets up for a great final.
Thanks, Bob. We're going to start here with Kevin Baxter. Kevin, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Bob, thanks for your time. Congratulations on your first final with LAFC. I have two questions. First of all, I think the one everyone wants to know is, do you have a disposition yet on Atuesta and Ante, whether they'll be able to participate in the final?
I'm certain that Edward will not be allowed to play. The discussion is at a higher level than I'm involved with. So my experience in these situations is to still try to make sure the players understand what's going on. We wouldn't be in the final if it wasn't for Edward. Man, he's a important player for us, a really talented young guy. And you really are sad when a young player is so important and then misses out on a final. But you saw the response that we had in the second half against Club America, the commitment that we have to still play our football. So we're going to miss Edward, and we feel bad for him, but our focus is still on just preparing for the game. You know, I don't think Ante will, I'm not sure about this, but normally then you're not allowed in the locker room or on the field, but I'm just guessing. I haven't seen anything official in terms of how that gets handled for Ante.
Okay, and the second question is, that was an incredible and emotional game, and probably the most important win in franchise history. All those things with everything that went on, you have 2 days essentially to recover and prepare for the next game. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because you don't have a lot of time to dwell on it, but yet you don't have time to process it and get over it either.
There's nothing to process and dwell on. It's just an excitement level for being in a final, for showing people how we play football and for competing against a great team. So that's the only part that we're thinking about. You know, when you're a player and you get a chance to be in a final, that's special. I said that at the beginning. And so our preparation, our commitment to the way we play, our willingness to go on the field and play, to be a brave team that plays football, that pushes forward, that makes chances, that plays at a fast tempo. I mean, this is what we're about. And so that's the only thing that anybody's really thinking about and talking about at the moment.
Damian Calhoun.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Good, Damian.
These last couple of games, you've had a lot of heroes. Just give me your thoughts on the way Kenneth Vermeer has handled being back in the starting lineup and the big saves he's had to come up with, especially on the free kick Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a huge save on the free kick. Our wall did a poor job. I said before we began that Kenneth had started the year playing for us in Champions League against Lyon, and we felt that it was right for him to be there as we finished. And throughout the year, the competition between Kenneth and Pablo, the way they support each other has been fantastic, and everybody's excited for Kenneth.
Alicia Rodriguez.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for your time. In light of your expectation that Edouard won't be available for the game, have you decided who you're going to be playing in midfield in his place? And maybe related to that, Latif Blessing has been really quite a spark coming off the bench the last couple of games. So is he in line for a start, or are you going to continue to have him in reserve to come off the bench for the game?
Still to be determined, but I like the way we played in the second half. And to be fair, when Poncho came on, he did a really good job when Sifu needed to come off. So we've got 4 guys that are all ready.
Thanks, Alicia. Jim Alexander, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Bob. Is maybe with everything that happened Saturday night and the way you guys came back and everything, which is impressive in itself, but the way guys maintained their composure and handled all the stuff that was being thrown at them, was that maybe the most impressive part of the night?
That mentality, that focus on pushing in the game and not letting different things take you away from what you're trying to do as a player or as a team. That's a big game mentality, and that's not always easy because to get swept up in emotion and different situations you see even on the highest levels. But I think it's a sign that we're getting more and more comfortable in these big games. We still have this confidence in terms of how we play and how we go about things. So for me, that was great to see.
Jonathan Siegel.
Hi there, Bob. We just spoke with Diego a short while ago. It's obviously been a remarkable season for him on an individual level. As that does kind of wind down, what have you observed with kind of his maturation as a player, someone who's been such a key part of this club as you all have charted this 3-year history already?
Yeah, Diego has just gotten better every year. He's matured. He's taken a bigger role. I talked earlier in the year when we went to Orlando, when we came to Orlando the first time for MLS is back without Carlos. Carlos was home with Seoa as they were expecting the birth of their daughter. And you could just see that Diego's confidence, his ability to take the ball, get into the box, his heart, his ability to make deep runs and threaten the other team, and his finishing has really improved. But it's the maturity. It's his ability to take a bigger role, to be a leader, his confidence. Those are the things that we've seen get better and better really every game.
Daniel Schwartzman.
Thanks. Hey, Bob, do you consider this game as the most important in the history of the franchise? And also your thoughts of André-Pierre Gignac. Is he the main concern of the LAFC? Thank you.
It's our first final, so we're going to call it our biggest game. Absolutely.
Sí, es nuestro.
Gignac is a big personality, a big player. You know, I watched him a lot when he played for Marseille. He's always been a player that is a strong reference in the attack for his teams. He's skillful, he's big, he's got a strong personality. So we understand what he brings to Tigres. He's a very, very good player.
Thanks, Bob. That's going to be it for Bob today. And just as an FYI, we're going to be shortly joined by LAFC players Mark Anthony Kaye and Kenneth Vermeer. We're now joined by LAFC goalkeeper Kenneth Vermeer. We're going to start here with Katia Castorena. Never mind. We're going to start here with David Espinosa. David, go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you. Do you think that winning the final against another Mexican team would put this balance on the side of the MLS with this recent comparison with the Liga MX?
Yeah, of course. I think we have showed like our best games against Mexican teams that we can compete with the Mexican teams and that we showed ourselves in a good way. So winning the title would be, yeah, a good way and show ourselves that we are really competitive with like the Mexican League.
Salvador Perez.
Thank you, Ben. Hi, Kenneth. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth, if LAFC defeats Tigres, can be the opportunity to be the third team of MLS to win the Champions League. Can be this an opportunity to make history and put LAFC in balance when MLS is so criticized at the level and as all around the Mexican League?
Excuse me.
¿Puede hacer la pregunta en español, por favor?
Sí, claro que sí. Te preguntaba, Kenneth, un poco que el AFC tiene la oportunidad de ser el tercer campeón de MLS en la historia de CONCACAF Champions League. Es la oportunidad para hacer historia y también un poco para nivelar esas críticas que hay en torno al nivel de MLS en comparación de Liga MX.
Is this an opportunity to create history with the club and with this level the playing field against the Mexican teams that have been prone to winning the Champions League for the last number of years?
Yeah, of course. As everyone knows, LA is like a new team. And being in a final is already history, but if we win the final, we make history for sure. I think for the past years, it's been a hard time for MLS teams to reach the final and even win the final. So we got now an opportunity, and I think me and my team, we are willing to sacrifice everything to win this final.
Yeah, of course. Esta es una final para un equipo que solo ha estado 3 años en la historia, así que el simple hecho de haber llegado a la final es un momento muy importante, pero si podemos ganar, pues eso sería algo mucho más lindo. Nosotros tenemos que hacer nuestra parte, enfocarnos en lo que tenemos que hacer y seguir adelante.
Katia Castrena.
Thanks, Ben. Sorry about that. Hi, Kenneth. I wanted to ask you about how you guys have grown as a team and now the franchise being in its first final. And what have you seen from Tigres that's going to present a different challenge, perhaps, from the ones that you have faced so far?
Well, this season overall was like a difficult year. It was a hard year with the lockdown, being in quarantine, stopping like the league, and yeah, it has been a hard time. But I think like we've been growing. Our last stretch, we showed ourselves that we were growing, and in this tournament, we came to Orlando. It is only 3 games, and it is like all or nothing. So we prepared ourselves. Like every game is like a final, and playing against Tigres is like, yeah, we have seen some highlights. It will be a different game, a totally different game than our last game against Club America. They had their tricks, and we almost fell for it, but we kept playing our own game, and luckily, with our football, we have managed to win that game. But Tigres is a totally different team. They have a nice way of playing. They like to manage the game, and we are a team that also try to manage the game and play the games our way. So I think it's going to be like an interesting game.
Enrique Gutierrez.
Thank you, Ben. Hello, Kenneth. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Do you feel that playing in the bubble gives you an advantage? Because in normal conditions with fans and having to travel to Mexico and play there would have been a little more difficult for you guys. Do you think playing in the bubble gives you that advantage?
It might be an advantage, of course. Playing in Mexico would be a totally different game with away fans and their friends. But also playing in LA is like a totally different for a team in Mexico, like we have saw against Leon, because the two games that we played away in Leon was like more difficult. It was our first game as well, but our home game, we showed ourselves the good way. We played our own game and we kept we kept pushing the game, and yeah, so you can see it both ways. But of course, playing in the bubble, it is just one game, and the best will win.
Alicia Rodriguez.
Hi, Kenneth. Thanks for your time today. I wanted to ask you about coming over here to play for LAFC. Obviously, you'd had a successful career in Europe. I have to imagine that an occasion like this is exactly why you came over to play for LAFC. Is this sort of validation for your decision to come to LAFC this year?
Yeah, for me, I was, of course, I was playing in Europe for several years. I've won a lot of trophies in Holland. Like everything what you can win, I've already won in Holland. So for me, I was looking for some new experience, a new challenge. And for me, LAFC came at the right time. It was a new team, a team that plays the way I like. And they were, of course, playing Champions League. So for me to leave Holland, it was like at the right moment.
Hey, we're going to move to Hector Trujillo.
Oh, sorry about that. I was muted. That's actually a good segue to my next question. In terms of comparison to what you were used to playing in Europe, how do you rate the intensity level and the talent level of where you're playing now, MLS, and the region itself with Mexico and the MLS? How would you rate the talent level compared to where you were playing before?
Well, like in Europe, everyone is like underestimated, like the level of the play in the MLS and Mexico. I think I didn't know before I came that there was like a high level. It is like, of course, a different way of playing, but every game is like competitive. You need to give your all. If you play like on 80%, you will lose the game for sure. So in this league, you always need to be 100%. Every team is like equal. So LAFC, with our way of playing, if we always can reach our level, most of the time we win the games. But like we have seen this season, it was like not always as good as we wanted. But at the end, like now we have one thing to play for, and it's an important trophy. I've never won a Champions League or a Euro League, and now the CONCACAF League. So for me, it's an opportunity. For the team, it's like an opportunity to make history, and yeah, we need to do everything for it to win this trophy.
Daniel Schwartzman.
Thanks, Ben. Kenneth, there is this possibility of the penalty kicks. Did you practice that? Were you planning to do it these days? And also, in that case, did you study the players, how they possibly shot the penalty kicks, the player from Tigres?
Well, I haven't trained or did any penalty shootouts, but a penalty shootout on training or in a real game is totally different. It's like a lot of tension in a shootout. It's like for a goalie, it's like you just have to be lucky. If you save one penalty and hoping for our opponent to miss one. But yeah, a penalty shootout is like 50-50 chance.
Thank you. That's going to be it for Kenneth today. Really appreciate your time, Kenneth. We're now going to be joined by LAFC's Mark Anthony Kaye. We're going to start the questions off here with Katya. Katya, go ahead.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, well, two questions. First, what do you see from Tigres and what different challenge they present from the ones that you have faced so far? And the second question is the fact that we've seen more parity on the field between teams and with LAFC your guys' football and eliminating 3 Mexican teams. How much do you feel the calendar ended up working in your favor now that all teams come with a finished tournament under their belt and not during preseason?
Yeah, so for the first part, obviously Tigres is a very good team. They play good football and they have a very good roster. So I think the challenges they impose is that they have 2 things that we might have not seen from the other teams early on. You know, I think Club America, you know, is a good team, but didn't really impose their way very well. And I think looking back at all the games Tigres has played, they always want to be that, you know, protagonist and dominant team in a game. So it'll be interesting to go up against them, but we're excited for the challenge. Obviously we have immense respect for them, but you know, we want to win this game. And to your second question, yeah, I think obviously the way the year worked, no one would have wanted it the way it went, I guess, with, you know, having to go to an MLS back tournament and then, you know, having injuries and it's just a weird year, but it worked out in a way where now we're together at a point where we played some good games and now there's 1 game left for the year and we're here. So again, I don't think you can predict a year like this, but the way it went, we'll take it right now because we're in a final and that's what we've always wanted to be.
Thanks. We're going to go to Damian Calhoun next.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How soon after the playoffs ended are you guys starting to sort of refocus yourself on this tournament? How difficult was that? And also you've been here from the beginning. How do you feel now? You know, after that, when you guys started, here you are in your first final here in your 3rd year.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, losing in the playoffs is never fun, and you know, we were very fortunate this year where our season didn't end with that game. So we're excited to be able to look forward to another one, which was Champions League. And yeah, we shifted gears very quickly. We knew that we had a good 2-week period ahead of us to get ready for these games, and we took it really well. So I'm glad that, you know, all the guys stayed focused despite how long and, you know, grueling this year's been to really push it to the last minute and now get into a final. And yeah, obviously I've been here since the beginning and the club has always had aspirations to be, you know, a top team on the global scale. And, you know, this final puts us, you know, within touching reach of getting there. So it's exciting. You know, finals are a different type of game, and I'm just glad that this club gets to see one so early in its history.
Gio Garcia.
Hey, Mark, congrats on making it to the final. Like you said, you're facing a tough team against Tigres. They're a team that so far in this tournament, once they get the lead, they don't let go of the lead. And, you know, obviously you guys being without Eduardo Tuesta, how do you think you guys match up with Quiñones and Aquino? Because it looks like from their games that they really like to control the game from the midfield.
Yeah, no, their wingers are dangerous, obviously. So, but throughout this year, we played against dangerous wingers and we've done well against them. So it's a challenge for sure, but it's something you have to be, you know, ready for. It's a big task, but we're excited that we have this opportunity to go up against them. yeah, Tigres has done well in their last 2 previous games. You know, I think the biggest thing for us is to give them a game they haven't seen. And, you know, we've been pretty good at doing that with these teams. So we're excited to just try and play our own way and see how they deal with us. But yeah, they're a good team, and we are going to try and make it as tough as possible on them by still playing our game.
Jim Alexander.
Okay, I had to unmute there for a second. I ask you the same thing that I asked Bob a little while ago. Coming out of the craziness Saturday and the way you guys were able to keep your composure and keep going in the face of everything that was being thrown at you, is that the most impressive thing from that night, even given the way you played and the way you came back and won, the fact that you were able to overcome all of the craziness?
That's something out of our control. So obviously it makes the game a little bit harder, but you know, we don't want to, you know, lose focus because of something that we can't control like that. And you know, I just give it to the guys for continuing to push. We really felt confident, you know, throughout the whole 90 minutes that we could get something out of this game. You know, at halftime, Bob just told us to just play our game and we can win this. So yeah, obviously, you know, when those antics are going on, it is a little easy to get unbalanced, but, you know, we're still focusing at the task at hand where we're trying to get to a final and we're trying to win one. So we weren't going to let something like that stop us. And I'm just glad that we prevailed through that.
Thanks, Jim. Josue Lopez.
Hey, Mark, congratulations on making it to the final. Now you have played León, Cruz Azul, America, and now you have Tigres, which is perhaps the biggest challenge. How can you rate Mexican teams in general?
Yeah, they're good teams, man. They're organized. They have very skillful players. I think, you know, just the talent level is very good. And I think they have a lot of game changers, guys on the team who can just, you know, create chances out of nothing. So, yeah, they've all been very good and different teams. But, yeah, I'm just very grateful that we've had the opportunities to play all of them in this tournament, at least the ones on our side. And then, you know, getting to the finals to play against Tigres we knew from the beginning, from the draw that it was going to be a tough task to get to the final. We were going to have to go through a lot of giants, and we have. So we're here now, and we just want to focus on this next game.
Alvaro Cruz.
Hello. Hi, Kenneth. After the great Carlos Vela performance in the game against Cruz Azul and America at the semifinals, do you think which player is better than André-Pierre Gignac, a big referent of Tigres, and Carlos Vela for LAFC, and why?
Well, I've never played with Gignac, so I can't tell you how good of a player he is other than watching it just like you and I have from our couches. I can only talk about Carlos, and Carlos is a great player. You guys see what he's done for us as a club, as a league, for the MLS. So, you know, I don't think there's really an even way of comparing them. They're both good quality players, and, you know, I know they're both going to give their all in the final, and I'm glad that I have Carlos on my side.
All right, that's going to be it for Mark. Thanks for your time today, Mark. Really appreciate it. That's going to be it for the press conference today. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night.